all the Jewish Masorti communities express the same laws for women, for, I don't know, for studying, for reading the books, for praying. They are exactly the same? They have the same base? Or how it is in the Masorti world?
Actually, the Masorti communities around the world are very diverse. It's very interesting. I travel, I go around the world, and I see in North America very liberal communities. I go down to Argentina, I see very liberal communities of the Masorti movement playing music on Shabbat, women rabbis, and then I go to Europe, okay, and I see more traditional communities, no music on Shabbat at all. Some of them there is even separate seating in some of them, okay, which I respect, but the Masorti way of thinking is there, okay, commitment to modern life and changing things accordingly. So there is some common issues for the Masorti movement, but it's not one stance. They're not all the same. One of the values that is very important in Masorti Judaism is pluralism, is religious pluralism. Okay, and we really want to feel everyone that's in the Masorti philosophy and the Masorti approach to feel comfortable that they're part of the Masorti movement. I'm not sure that in the Reform movement, for example, if a community would be not egalitarian, if the Reform movement would accept that. They would say that's probably not proper.
Two questions about that. It's very easy to determine what's the difference between Masorti and Orthodox. You can see it easily. Which one is Orthodox and which one it can be Masorti. Where is the line between Masorti and Reformist? And second, you say Galatasian. What it is?
What does egalitarian mean?
Yes, egalitarian.
Oh, okay. So egalitarian means equal rights, okay? And in the Reform movement, every community is egalitarian, or almost every community is egalitarian. And in the Masorti movement, it's different kinds of egalitarianism, okay? Even in traditional communities, in the more conservative communities of the conservative movement, women have active roles. Well, a woman could be a president of a synagogue. There's mixed seating. There are some prayers that they read. A bat mitzvah would lead services in some of them, okay? So there is some form of egalitarianism in that sense. The difference between my dear friends from the Reform movement, which are really dear friends, and I appreciate their work very much, is that their commitment to Jewish law, okay, and to the actual halacha, okay, is very small. Okay, they don't do what they do. They don't necessarily do according to religious halacha and standards. Okay, it's more like open to more free interpretation by any rabbi or by the lay people, etc. And there's no demand from the people to.
An example.
I give you an example of kashrut. Okay, keeping kosher. Okay, all Masorti synagogues have to be kosher, and in the events, etc. Okay, I'm not talking about the actual people. I'm not talking about the actual participants. Okay, but in the events, in the synagogues, etc. I do know that in the Reform movement, some are and some are not. Okay, it's not something that you have to do. We wouldn't accept that as a religious movement. Okay, and the Reform, it's more of an individual choice.
What next in the Masorti movement? What next for Mexico with the Masorti movement, with Betel, with Comunidad Hebrea de Guadalajara? What's the next steps with them? How is the relation? How is it going with them?
Mm-hmm. It's actually very exciting. I'm here in Guadalajara now for the first time in my life with many communities from all over the Central Latin American region. Some are Reform, some in Masorti. And there are a lot of people here from Mexico who are excited about what's going on just because of this conference happening in Guadalajara. And many are approaching, asking, can we be part of the Masorti movement? How could we do that? So I think our next approach would be to actually, try to answer some of the needs of these communities, okay, and maybe sending more rabbis. or maybe local rabbis already servicing them and giving them Masorti services. And maybe more communities would like to be part of that Masorti approach.
And with the communities that are like Betel and Comunidad Hebrea de Guadalajara that are already part of the Masorti movement, what's with them? How do you help them? How do you work with them? How can they expect more of you? We always expect more from us, from other people than what we are going to give, but.
Yeah, well, we have some plans and some programs to do. One of the things that we want to do is we want to focus attention and resources and funds on the young adults. Okay, the people in the 18 to 30. I've already spoken to the rabbis in the area and in the synagogues to create more programming for that young adult people who we usually don't see in our synagogues. Okay, maybe a few times a year. And to have a special program for them, that maybe even have a trip to Israel for them, and anyone that's interested would also contact the rabbis in Bet El, and Rabbi Lionel Levy specifically, and we would work with them. I already met with a group of young people who are excited about this idea, and we'll move it forward.